very important.
For the first time, the alleged Russian spy and gun advocate Maria Butina is speaking out and firing back, saying if she had really been a Russian agent, she would have been the worst one imaginable.
If I would be a beautiful Russian spy, you would never see me in public. I mean, I would be the most unseen person on earth.
Instead, the 30-year-old who pleaded guilty in December to conspiracy to being an unlawful, unregistered agent for a foreign government says she was unfairly accused of trading sex to get political access.
For the last 40 days, me being called a whore, it's very hard.
Prosecutors later retracted that accusation, blaming it on a misinterpretation of her text messages. But government lawyers did imply in court papers they believed she was using her boyfriend, Republican operative Paul Erickson, to further her objectives.
Beauty and the Beast.
Erickson, seen here singing Beauty and the Beast with Butina in a recording studio, recently was indicted on unrelated charges of money laundering and wire fraud. His lawyer says his full story hasn't yet come out. Butina is speaking out in a series of exclusive interviews with James Bamford, author of several books on intelligence, who wrote an article on her in the new edition of The New Republic magazine. In audio clips of those interviews, which Bamford shared with CNN, Butina talked of being surprised by federal agents when they raided her apartment last year, a couple of months before her arrest.
I just cleaned my apartment and I was baking banana bread. They told me the search warrant. So I opened the door, just walked in, so I was pushed back.
In the interviews, which were conducted before and after her arrest, Butina emphatically denies she was a spy. Bamford notes she was never charged with espionage. The lesser charge she pleaded to included admitting she tried to infiltrate Republican political circles and influence U.S. relations with Russia through her inroads with the National Rifle Association and other groups. But Butina has claimed she did that simply to improve U.S.-Russian relations and because she wanted to expand gun rights in Russia. Bamford sides with Butina, saying he doesn't believe she did anything covert. As for the prosecutor's claim that Butina worked at the direction of Alexander Torshin, a Russian banker with ties to Vladimir Putin,
the facts show that she was not a spy, that she was never paid, never directed by the Russian government. She didn't work for Torshin. Torshin couldn't tell her what to do. He couldn't fire her. He couldn't reassign her. He couldn't demote her.
But prosecutors say Butina did update Torshin on her efforts to meet influential Republicans. Former intelligence officers tell CNN they don't believe Butina was a trained spy on the Russian government payroll. But they say that doesn't mean she wasn't cultivated by the Russians to give them sensitive information.
The FBI conducted a pretty airtight investigation. We have serious emails between her and her Russian handler. We have Twitter communications. They got her phone records, and many of those emails point to her as a Russian intelligence operative.
Still, James Bamford says he believes the prosecution of Maria Butina was unfair and motivated by politics and the desire for publicity. A spokesman for the U.S. Attorney's Office said because the case is still pending and Butina is awaiting sentencing, they would not comment on those remarks by James Bamford. Wolf?